And how quickly they're going into oncoming traffic.
Yeah, and Elisa, you were pointing this out before the newscast, and you noticed how fast they were going before we broke into programming.
Right. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Well, just really narrow gaps as well. Going to be really difficult for law enforcement to navigate this. I don't even know if we still have sight of this Audi vehicle at this point. I mean, you saw that vehicle shoot a gap between a semi and a car on the other side that was just a couple of feet in either direction.
And they don't seem to be going in any direction, like you said, just trying to get away. At this point, what we're seeing there with our sky map technology, that pinpoint accuracy, we're seeing some of the same addresses over and over again. So it's difficult to even tell if they're just driving towards someone trying to get home. Sometimes they end up at their girlfriend's house, their mother's house, a spouse's house. It's very difficult to even tell where they might be trying to get to, but they're along the Sam Houston Parkway. We are now entering the 4 o'clock hour rush hour, and there is also construction along the North Belt. It is a very, very busy part of town.
Yeah, it looks like we're our Sky is trying to figure out where this driver went off to. But again, sometimes police do take a step back because they don't want to fully pursue, knowing that there are dangers out there. As you mentioned, Elisa, a lot of folks are leaving work right now and trying to get home. So these roads are starting to get extremely busy. And obviously, this driver has no regard for people out there going the wrong way, crossing roads and highways without even stopping. So there's a major concern happening right now.
And some pretty intricate close quarter maneuvers. Obviously, as you can see, Sky I-13 has not been able to track the driver as the driver went through multiple underpasses, successions at a time. We do know, again, League City is the lead agency on this. That from Sky I-13's Tammy Rose. And Elisa, you have to imagine, right, that police will have their helicopters in the air as well as one way to track this suspect right now in a chase that has been going on at least 10 minutes at a high rate of speed.
Absolutely. And League City being the lead agency, you don't know if they actually came out of League City or for some other reason League City was perhaps serving a warrant. I don't want to get too far out in speculation, but of course at this point you're talking about agencies that could be involved as well because of the additional jurisdictions that are in between.
Yeah, and our producer talking to us in our ear, obviously getting those details. We understand that person behind the vehicle in that Audi apparently crashed at some point. So we know Tammy and her pilot are trying to figure out exactly where that is and see what happened in this case.
And what will happen once that crash happens, which frankly felt inevitable as we all watched it, to see the vehicle at such a high rate of speed and such close quarters into oncoming traffic at certain points. Now law enforcement will be able to get to the scene, and our team with Sky I-13 will be able to locate it pretty soon now, you would imagine, now that the vehicle has stopped and crashed.
And unfortunately, Houston drivers have to keep their head on a swivel because you never know, even if you are following all of the rules of traffic, what is coming up and around you. So be on the lookout on the northwest side. We are searching for the exact location of that scene as we speak.
Actually, we're told now, and again.
So be on the lookout on the northwest side. We are searching for the exact location of that scene as we speak.
Actually, we're told now, and again, our producer Laura Karras and our whole ABC 13 team communicating on it. It is such a dangerous situation. The vehicle crashed, but is still moving, still going.
And we've seen that happen before, right? Sometimes they're down to the rim and they keep going, still evading police. So again, it's still a dire situation that is happening here on the roadways. At before 4 o'clock now, we had to break into programming early to bring you the situation that is happening live right now. And if you are just joining us, we have been following this chase for the last maybe 15 minutes or so. Elisa, you and I saw it before we came on air.
Absolutely. Jonathan was talking as we were walking into the studio. Sky Eye has been up throughout the afternoon, patrolling the area, following news stories, and this one came up for us. So Tammy had started to follow this. She mentioned throughout the northwest side, and you can see some vehicles stop their traffic, and our law enforcement vehicles are now popping up in our view.
It looks like that's the vehicle.
And yeah, and that's one thing I want to clarify in terms of still going. It looks like the vehicle vehicle has stopped, but this has become a foot pursuit now, typical in these situations that you see often enough in terms of the pursuit, the vehicle crash, and then the suspect, let's call it that, the driver, has now fled the scene on foot.
We understand that suspect that took off after crashing the vehicle is now in an apartment complex area. As you can see, that vehicle stopped. And that person is now again running around this complex, and you see police following and trying to figure out where this person might be. So you just don't know what kind of suspect they're dealing with, right? Sometimes we have seen situations where the person involved has a weapon or a gun of some sort. In desperate times, they'll break into certain places or whatnot. So if you are watching this live, if you happen to be in this area, just go inside, lock your doors. Of course, if you see something, call police immediately.
And there is an onus right now on law enforcement, a number of difficult decisions that have to be made that hopefully they are trained to make in terms of pursuit or not, especially, Elisa, when you're looking at such close quarters like this, both on the road in the vehicle and now foot to foot, ultimately, as we look at really some law enforcement vehicles really still moving at a fairly high rate of speed here in the complex, and you see the other helicopter as well.
That was HPD zooming by now over the scene, trying to see if they themselves can see where the suspect fled to. And again, we say suspect because we don't know if it's a male or a female. We have seen many situations where it is a woman behind the wheel and it's the person that police are chasing. But again, all of this is happening in real time, and we are finding out these details that we can relate to you as fast as possible.
And it's a little nerve-wracking. You see that school bus there on the top right corner of the screen. Children are being let out of school buses, waiting to get on school buses at their respective campuses. It's a very dangerous time of day for something like this to be going on. And once somebody leaves on foot, like I said, we perceive this as a suspect because law enforcement is trying to apprehend them. So in that regard, you don't know if they're going to be willing to commit another crime, steal another car, trying to get into someone's house. And so at this point, we are very much sending that alert out to the community as we try to zero in on exactly where this is happening, what apartment complex, to let people know that they really do need to be aware of their surroundings at this hour.
And of course, at this point, it is not clear where the suspect is, but the chase has stopped. We saw that vehicle crashed out. So we will continue to follow this situation here on Now Eyewitness News at 4. We got up at about 3:50. We're right into the newscast. Elisa, thanks so much for your expertise, and we will keep you all updated on this situation here as well.
Yeah, meantime, we want to get to other top headlines that we are working here today. So breaking at this moment, firefighters putting out hot spots after multiple explosions rocked a propane facility over in Waller County.
Busy afternoon here on a Wednesday in the Houston area. This breaking news we first brought you on our ABC 13 24/7 live stream. FM 2855 and FM 529 are closed as emergency crews work to put out those hot spots. They're still asking residents to avoid the area right now. ABC 13's Liliana Pearson live with us. Liliana, you're just down the road from the facility here.
Yeah, we're just down the road from the facility, and in the last few minutes, we actually had some of the crews here from the Waller County Office of Emergency Management, the fire department, come up here and provide us some new details. So they're telling us that this fire, these explosions, that this happened at the Rapid X Exchange facility. This is where propane is moved from very large containers down into smaller ones, so those small personal ones that you may use at home. And the Office of Emergency Management tells us that they believe it was during that exchange from a large container down to a smaller one where this fire may have sparked. They said that it was actually that employee that was doing the exchange that they believed was the only person injured here today. There were other employees here that were able to take that person to the hospital to get treatment. They are expected to be okay. But we can go ahead and take a look at some video that our Sky Eye was able to capture earlier today to give you a better idea of just how extreme this fire and this explosion was. The Office of Emergency Management telling us that when fire crews were arriving here today, it took them a few minutes to get in because there were those ongoing explosions as those smaller propane tanks continued to light on fire. The Office of Emergency Management telling us that they were actually able to get the facility itself under control fairly quickly, but it was a nearby grass fire that sparked off the original fire that they had a harder time with. Right now, it is really windy out here today. There are some pretty tough and extreme conditions. They said that grass fire really took off. There's about 30 acres that burned, but they say they were able to get that under control with no other buildings or facilities catching on fire.
Wow,
so
crazy.
right now they are continuing their investigation into what exactly happened. Again, they do believe that.
Okay, that's wild. Fish Washington. I think my camera was glitching, but you are right about the lights. It's not that bright. My camera was just, I don't know. Like the second camera, I had to get a new camera because of that camera. It has issues. Like a year ago or something, I got a new camera because it was having all these glitches and stuff. But you are right about the lights, though. It's not as bright as it looked, but I went to this local mom and pop fish store. It's like 30 minutes away. They're amazing, and I've learned so much from those people. And I learned that the local corporation store told me everything wrong. You know, I guess because they're making commission and stuff, so they sold me all this crap. This fish tank, the design actually really sucks. Like once I've actually spent hours like working on it, and the fish tank supposedly it says it's a saltwater tank. It's actually meant for saltwater. It says it can do both, but the guy was like, it's really meant for saltwater, and so he was like, the water flows too much. And it kind of, some people had told me that before, that the water flows a lot. So I had to buy this valve. I had to cut the tubing. I did all this crap yesterday. This tank that I spent, the tank itself, when I bought the whole thing, everything together, it was like $1,000, but I spent more than that. I could have got a nicer tank without all the complications and bought the parts separately, and I would have probably spent less, and it would have been less of a headache. But I cut the tubing, and I put the valve in between the two tubings and connected it, and I can kind of control the flow now. So I slowed it down. The light sucks on this tank, and what the guy told me is that the lighting is really meant for coral, like the blue lighting. The moonlight thing is really for coral. It's not really for like freshwater fish. So next week I'm gonna buy some new lighting. I'm making small adjustments, but it's definitely a working process. It's way more than I ever thought it was to really take care of fish. I had no idea, man. I mean, I love the process. I love learning. It's really cool, but I definitely underestimated it. I thought you were just going to toss this stuff in there and that was going to be it. No, it's so much. It's so much. Even the CO2, the guy was telling me, he's like, oh, so like, do you have a timer on your CO2? I'm like, no, like I just run it 24/7. He's like, oh, you shouldn't run it 24/7. I was like, oh, okay. So I bought this like little plug that I can plug it in, and there's a timer on the plug. And he was telling me like 2 hours before the lights come on, have it turn on, and then 1 hour before it turns off, have it turn off. So it's been all this stuff. This tank it's a horrible tank, honestly. BioCube 32, horrible tank. But in the process, I've learned a lot. I want to play this real quick before we get out of here too. There's because I never got to talk about the lady they're searching for her, Suzanne Simpson in Texas. I wanted to do it for the other stream, but we'll just take a look at the short video. They're actively searching in a landfill right now, so that's what you see in the corner there. Like a landfill search happening right there. Husband was arrested.
Police say the mother of four was last seen outside her home late Sunday night.
Yeah, mother of four. I thought she was a mother of three. Mother of four, they're saying.
Fighting with her 53-year-old husband, Brad. A neighbor says later he heard screams in the woods nearby.
They said that he had been arrested the day before.
That report coming in from KSAT in San Antonio, Texas, where Brad Simpson has now been arrested on multiple charges of violent assault causing bodily injury and unlawful restraint. This after neighbors heard suspicious sounds coming from their home the night before he reported his own wife, Suzanne, missing. The search for Suzanne continues, and friends and relatives and neighbors held a prayer vigil for her. Reporter John Paul Barajas with KSAT has the story.
Family, friends, and strangers gather to pray for Suzanne Clark Simpson. She was last seen last Sunday. At this time, for loved ones, leaning on their faith seems like the only thing they can do.
I just don't understand. I don't understand why it happened. It wasn't part of their life.
Suzanne's mom, Barbara Clark, says she spoke to her daughter 1 hour before she was last seen.
She called me up and told me the things that Brad had done to her physically. Wow. Well, I came up with an alternative plan for her in the hope that she'd move in with me. I never got to tell her the plan.
Clark explained Suzanne told her husband Brad had hurt her arm and back around 9 p.m. According to
So, and they're saying he owns firearms in a locked room. They're also saying that the locked room contains several silencers registered to Brad, the husband.
Arrest affidavit around 10 or 11 p.m. A neighbor then saw the Simpsons fighting outside their almost park home and later heard screams from the wooded area nearby.
Do you think that Brad's responsible for her disappearance?
Angela, thank you.
I agree with that. I would like to visit with him and ask him why. What happened?
You probably never find out why. A lot of times you don't.
Clark adds the family's doing the best they can, but she is worried about Suzanne's 4 children.
That's hard to know exactly how they're doing.
And even as everyone tries to remain positive, Clark fears her daughter is no longer alive.
I don't think she is, because I have not heard from her.
Is there anything you say to Suzanne right now if she could hear you?
Suzanne, we love you. We need you. And we pray for you.
It's a picture of her right there.
Thanks to KSAT for that report. Think Tank still with us. Al Wunsch III, Darnell Crossland, and Jennifer Brandt. Jennifer, he's not yet charged with murder. He's charged with unlawful restraint because of what those neighbors overheard of injury that causes bodily injury or assault that causes bodily injury. Do you think that there's a reason that they are waiting to charge with murder?
Maybe just to gather up some more evidence. I mean, she hasn't been found. Maybe they hope that they will find her. So I think maybe a little more time is needed just to sort of put together everything that they do have before they can level those charges against him. They want to be right. So I think it makes sense to just see if there's anything else that comes up, especially finding her. I think that is the most critical part of all of this.
Absolutely. Of course, wanting to keep hope, but Al, listening to the mother when she was asked if her son-in-law had anything to do with this, it's almost like she couldn't bring herself to say the word. She just said, I can agree with that, instead of just, yes, I think he did it. Can they move forward in terms of the prosecution if the worst happens and they don't find a body?
Well, I think the valuable lesson we learned on this whole thing is that if anyone lives near me and you hear screams in the woods, call the police immediately.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, why wouldn't have someone called the police at that instant? The neighbor had such detail as to what argument was going on and didn't think to maybe pick up the phone and call 911. Didn't think to say, I hear screams after a big fight. There might be something wrong here, folks. So neighbors of mine, please make sure you call the police first and go from there.
So, she hasn't been heard from since October 6th. And apparently, like they said, now there was some type of argument, shouting and screaming going on from what the neighbor heard. And she hasn't been seen since. Crazy. So this guy has a hearing, an arraignment hearing, November 13th, I think I saw. We'll check it out when it happens. I do want the sheriff. I'm wondering about the sheriff, too. The cop that shot the sheriff. What's the next update on that? I don't know. We'll have to check it out and see. Insanity. So they're currently searching for her in the landfill. That's what's happening on the right, bottom right. Still searching for this mother. Crazy. Yeah, that's true, nurse. It's called not wanting to get involved. Yeah, people don't want to get involved sometimes. People don't want to deal with that. I know. I mean, I've told the story many times. One of the places that I used to live, I had a neighbor. My neighbor next to me, we used to kind of look out for each other, not nosy. I don't like nosy neighbors, but just like if some weird shit's going on, you call the cops or whatever. You let me know. Anyway, my neighbor next to me across the street, we had another neighbor that was kind of cool, and these kids broke into the guy's house while he was gone. They started stealing stuff that my neighbor called the cops. The cops came out, and I remember that day because I was at the house and I pulled out and I was leaving. I saw these kids walking into a neighborhood, and I just knew that they're not normally there. It was like a dead end street, so we don't get that much traffic there. And I knew those kids. I'd never seen them before, and something stuck out to me. But I didn't think they were gonna go rob something. And I was leaving, and I saw them walking down the street. And I was like, oh, it popped in my head, but I didn't think too much of it. By the time I came back home, there was cops. Came back home like, I don't know, 30 minutes, an hour later. Cops were there. My neighbor did the right thing to call the cops. Well, I spoke to him after the fact, after what happened, and he told me that like he almost regretted calling the cops because now he was saying that he has to go to court and they're forcing him to like testify and all this shit. And these kids, they're gonna know it's him, you know? And so he was worried about like these kids retaliating or something, going back for him or doing something. I don't know. So, you know, sometimes I do think it's the right thing to do, but doing the right thing too sometimes will pull you into all kinds of crazy shit. You know, like, you know. The chase, it's over. It was over really quick, sadly. Oh, and it's real quick too. The guy was arrested. They cut it. They cut off the feed. The car crashed, but this was posted on Twitter. Christian here posted a picture of the man being arrested. So it's over. That's true, Kelly. Maybe you just call and don't give your name. This guy got pulled up into some shit. The cops are out there talking to him. Now he has to go to court. I never asked him what happened after, but I remember him telling me like he didn't want to go, but they subpoenaed his ass. He didn't have a choice, so he had to go. And it was like 3 or 4 kids. They look young. I don't know if they're 18 over or under 18, but they look like in their teenage years. And he didn't want to have to go testify, but they forced him. You know. I had to call police 2 weeks ago, hearing 2 volleys of gunfire kind of close by my backyard. It took second volley before I realized it's not fireworks. That happened. There was one time I was at a gas station, like a couple of weeks ago, and all of a sudden I just hear pop, 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 pop. But nobody moved, nobody jumped, nobody screamed. I didn't see anybody, and I was wondering to myself, was that gunshots or was that like something else? I wasn't even sure. It sounded like gunfire, but I couldn't even tell. I don't know. A block away. We have security cameras everywhere, so if something happens, we don't have to testify. The cameras can do the talking. They might still put you in. I don't know. they might. It's good to have cameras, though, for sure. We're in Texas. I actually don't know. Let me see if I see the article. Oh, it said Houston. Chase in Houston, Texas is where it was at. There's not really much information, but the guy was caught and arrested. Don't usually get to see chases in Texas. King Wolf, yo, thank you for tagging me, man. I know. I wish we got to see the end of the chase. I appreciate you, dude. Thank you for tagging me on Twitter. I appreciate it. I would have not known about that. And Nat told me. He tagged me. I kind of wish I didn't start a second stream for it because it was so short. If I would, But I had a feeling it wasn't going to last long. Sometimes with those Texas chases, or especially Florida, they don't really last too long. It's pretty quick. Okay, one more thing before I head out. I just can't forget. I was just thinking about the Florida chase that we covered. Hold on, Florida chase months ago. Hold on, where's this one at? Oh, here we go. Oh, almost a year ago. I titled it "Wild Florida Chase: Goons Run Scared, Trying to Jump Off the Highway." Hold on, let's play this real quick. How many windows do I have open? It's Inception. Okay.
This vehicle, again, getting very close to traffic. You got this big rig right here, but...
Look at that. Look at that. All right, this is going to be the point where you probably see it happen. There it is. There's your fitness.
Yo, and this is some ballsy shit. You know, Cali, they would not have picked this guy with all this traffic here in the middle of traffic. Bro, they would not have picked this guy like this.
There it is. There's your pit maneuver.
Bro.
Wheels come off there. The rim there. Police officers are going to be exiting the vehicle.
Damn, them boys don't play. Make me proud of Florida. Look at that.
All right, can you continue
aggressive
on
as shit.
Not wanting to stop.
They're playing this bullshit. Let the criminals run the streets.
Come out and do it again.
Look at Europe, how the criminals are running the streets and shit.
Control. Let's see what happens here.
They control the street. The government afraid of them.
Looking down at it out my window right now. We've got more officers pulling up. Obviously, as we said before, a dangerous situation. The officers do not know whether these people are armed or exactly what their intent is, other than to trying to elude the police. Okay, we've got him backward now. He's going to be pinned in there. Okay, here we go. Let's see what happens.
So
he's trying to ram the police. Yeah.
Wow, look at all the doors coming the boys.
Get this van to stop. He's surrounded.
Still trying to go.
Going backward.
Reverse now.
Going backward. 3 pit maneuvers. This is the first one.
Damn, look at that.
He hits the back.
Florida don't play.
Driver just kept on going. He continues slowly, and you think maybe he's going to get out.
Florida, baby. He's still going. Let's go.
Far left.
Boom. These fans messed up, right?
Hits him again. He spins, and I think this is when he goes
backwards. This is a U-Haul truck. He goes on a chase.
Okay, he's hit one more time.
I don't know if it was stolen or what happened. I guess it was.
Ralph is watching along with us.
Look at this shit. Hey.
You shot this, so yeah, you know.
What was that, Spectrum?
It is crazy. And
let's go, baby. That Florida shit. He's riding with a cone.
Now he spins. Traffic cone stuck in his wheel. We saw that orange thing that he ran over. Apparently that was a traffic cone. And he stops because he has to. All those tires are blown out.
Oh, he's trying to reverse. Holy moly.
This FHP trooper getting back in his car.
Man, they didn't want to get caught.
It's pretty unbelievable.
Hit him again, baby. Let's go. That Florida shit.
Sort of boxes him in.
Let's go.
And then he's surrounded with dozens
Go play that Florida shit.
Police officers. And nobody in that van really gave up pretty easily. The guy in the back in the jeans.
Come on, your hands up,
motherfucker. The back door and tries
he about to jump.
Over
that lady? I'm about to jump off the ledge. Try, baby. We got the cannon on your ass. Somebody coming out the back, too. One less person in jail. Go.
People were in.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Go ahead.
Jump off the ledge. Try, baby. We got the cannon on your ass. Look at the cannon, top right. Look at that. Hold on.
The jump. Over the side.
I'm about to jump off the ledge. Try, baby. We got the cannon on your ass. Jump off. Go ahead.
Open, we started.
One less person in jail. Go.
People were in the van.
Yeah. Why are you so scared? You're so hard driving this shit. Why are you so scared now?
Front door on the right hand side, the passenger side, and then the other the back doors opened up and. One person came out.
They're trying to throw himself off.
The back door. The back door.
Desperate
on the driver's side, and then the rear passenger door. Sorry, and then the back doors opened, and another guy jumped.
This
out.
was like a 2-minute chase.
All of the officers ran over there to that wall, to the retaining wall there, because he was.
Look at him, so desperate. Some people, I don't know what's wrong with some people. Truly in life, they always just self-destruction. Trying to throw him off for what? Look at his ass, dumbass.
At least in the appearance that he wants.
Let him go. Fuck it.
Jumping down there.
Let his ass go. He jump so bad. Let him go.
Pilot here, Joe Mancino, to get us around the other side. And we're going to take a look at that and just see.
Some people just got to learn the hard way.
As high as it looks, because I'm
let him break his legs.
Now.
It looks
Choke his ass on there, you fool.
It does look pretty high. We're going to come around the other side here.
So they've got like 20, at least 20 police officers holding on to that.
Where's everybody at? Where's all the people at for that one chases, man? Come on.
At the news desk that 4 people were in that van. 4 people
there you go.
Are under arrest, and that was a pretty big jump. So a very successful end to a police chase that started way down south and ended up there near Okeechobee 106th Street exit. Is going to be clogged for some time. One driver was hit, some poor driver in a silver car, unfortunately, but it looks like nobody else was injured. We'll have more on this developing story on 7 News for Ralph Rayburn. I'm Lynn Martinez. Now back to program.
Okay, and the chases in Florida seem to be really short most of the time because they really don't get around with all this safe space criminal shit. But look at that canine ready to go, man. That thing is hungry. What is wrong with these people? They're really ready to throw themselves off the ledge of this? You know something's wrong with society mentally. You're mentally ill. You're willing to throw yourself off of this, I don't know, highway or something, you probably, in the very least, break some bones, break your leg, break your ribs. I don't know, something. If you survive this jump, you're willing to chuck yourself. Just think about the mentality. You're willing to chuck yourself into the air off a highway. You know there's something mentally wrong with these people. What the fuck? Damn, look at this.
Scared too. Look at this shit. I thought you were so hard. Scrambling, yo. Look at it. Flailing. He just wants to get off of this thing. Let me go, please. So he can sue the cops. Say police brutality or some bullshit. Look at that. Flailing. Begging to be let go to throw it down to his demise. I don't know how tall that is. Get your ass up here. I'll let the canine tackle him and both of them go down. A canine and the person.
Bro, I gotta get back to the commentary, but people would get upset about the canine thing. I was joking, but like,
I'll let the canine tackle him and both of them go down. A canine and the person. Look at him. He literally like, slipped out of his shirt hoping to be let go.
Scraping and scrabbling, Eddie. 50 plus feet, probably, right? Crazy. One last one. Another legendary.
So you can actually see again there the balloon.
This is crazy.
In his hand, and looks to be up near his mouth.
This is when I first moved into one of my apartments. I had literally nothing. That's what I started with.
We don't necessarily know what's going on there.
He's taking puffs. You
can make your own assumptions. Again, we're watching to see if he will get out of the car and surrender to authorities.
I mean, he could be breathing
right
into.
Now, they are not approaching him. The last time we saw this type of circumstance, again, the officer in that vehicle right there got to open the door.
If he doesn't mix that with air and he's just like straight out breathing back and forth, it's a balloon. He's got to be, damn, bro, he's taking hits. Yo, if he's doing whippets, he can't be. You got to take a break and get air, though.
This point, but right now we are at a standstill as we're looking to see what happens with this person. From the other side, you can tell that the window was down.
Look at the balloon.
Really see anything.
He's inhaling nitrous oxide, aka laughing gas, which I don't know. I've heard some of these kids now when they're buying, nothing's real anymore. Like back in the day, there used to be like real ecstasy. I mean, you could probably find it now, but everything's like adulterated and mixed with all kinds of. It's just not like how it was back in the day. And so I was watching something the other day about this guy that like did whippets every day for 6 months, like every day straight, and he ended up in the hospital. And because I think nitrous oxide depletes, I think like vitamin B or B12 or something, like cobalt or whatever. And so this kid had some like he was a TikToker. He had some neurological issues, and his body wouldn't function properly, and it took him a long time to recover. And I think to this day, maybe he's still recovering. You know.
Amazing. The contents of the back of the pickup, which again look like tree stumps. I only bring that up, and that there is some weight in the back of the pickup truck, which would give it some stability.
Your lungs can freeze, Anita. That is something too. There's a lot of things that are can be dangerous with it.
As he's driving, if he were driving at high rates of speed, but he's not necessarily. He's just not pulling over. So now we see the pit.
He ain't even worried. He's doing one hand.
Intersection. If he follows suit, which he did, he's going to try to get away. And now he's made it dangerous driving into oncoming traffic. The officers are continuing to bump him and try to stop him, but now look, as he has moved on. You have a couple of people standing outside taking their cell phone images of it, and this is almost exactly what happened a moment ago. The driver continues to not yield, and there it is again. You can see another shot
coming for another time?
with the balloon for this suspect, which now we're about to see another pit maneuver, and there is another one, and we'll see if the sheriff's changed tactics at all to try to pin him in a little bit more. But with the pickup truck, he's going to have a little bit more of an opportunity to go over those medians, and he's done that again. Now he's going into officers.
Jesus.
This is where it begins to get dangerous for other people, because even though he's going at slow rates of speed, he is...
Is he drinking? Is he ingesting drugs? It's kind of tough to tell. As we see him a little bit closer, he seems to be maybe grooving to the music, which may be actual music in his car or just the music in his mind after
the music in his mind.
Substances. Let's go.
Kiss somebody, kiss somebody, yeah. Say, oh shit, they come for his ass. But did you know that when? Oh, keep going, baby. Keep going, baby. Fuck those cops. Keep going, baby. Hey, keep going, baby. Fuck those cops. No, those are nice cops. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, jeez.
Don't use the Lord's name in vain. I'm unsubscribing. I'm tired of that. Icky Mel.
So, this guy literally got pit maneuvered. I walked away because I was trying to make an energy drink. I spilled this shit dramatically all over the desk. This is just like, and I just got this little bit here. Spilled everything everywhere. That's my life. Like, everything's so dramatic. Anytime I spill something, it's like all over the place. Ooh, that might be. No, that's not the chase that got me a noise complaint. I think that was that same day, though, Flossie. I think that was the same day. Fun times, though. All right, guys, I'm going to call it for now. Thank you so much for hanging out. We'll see what happens later. Sarah Boone, I don't know when it's starting. They're having problems with the jury. It's supposed to start sometime this week. So that's a nice picture. We'll see when it starts. Sarah Boone. Last year I got a noise complaint. I think it's the neighbor that got upset because I told her to slow down. Because she was driving in the neighborhood like really fast. She was driving inside the gate. Like inside, it's gated, but like, it's bullshit. But I live in a gated place. And so she was driving on the inside like really fast. And I noticed her do it a couple times. So one day she did it in front of me and I told her like, hey, like there's kids in this community that play outside. You know, can you please just slow down? Oh, she turned around and gave me like this crazy look. Her eyes were bulging. She looked at me like disgust, like, how dare you? And didn't say one word to me and then continued to walk up the stairs. I was like, oh my God. So I don't think I said anything that was that crazy. So anyway, a little bit after that, I got a noise complaint. I think it was that same lady. How dare you tell me that? How dare you tell me slow down? How dare you? Slow down, what? You kidding me? All right, guys, take care. Peace.